My first psychic experience, what I remember, I was a child playing hide and seek with my sister, and I remember perhaps going a bit too far. I grew up in a middle of nowhere kind of village, and I'd gone into the woods, and somebody said to me, "You've gone too far." And I looked round and I saw this lady and two gentlemen there, and I knew there was something different about them, but I didn't know what. And they said, "Come on, we'll take you home." And I knew it was okay to go. I must have only, as I say, I remember it sort of 6 or 7 years old. And that was really it, really. And when I got back, I said to my lovely nan, "Oh, it's okay. The people brought me back." And she said, "Yes, I knew they would." And that's how it was, really. I know that sounds strange, but that's it. Well, as a child, you just get on with it, really. I wasn't frightened or anything. It just felt normal, if you like. I just thought, oh yeah, I was more worried that I was going to get told off for going too far out of where we were supposed to go and play. That bothered me more. So yeah, there wasn't really anything terrifying or worrying. It was quite relaxing and calm. At that age, I didn't know they was. I knew they were different. As a little girl, you don't see them as, they didn't appear to me like sheets, with eyes. They were just normal people, but I knew they were different somehow, and I couldn't comprehend quite how, but I knew there was a difference there with them. I knew, and it was a nice calming experience. I knew all of a sudden I felt really safe. Their appearance was, I would say, it was quite clear, and yet I knew. She grabbed my hand and said, "Come on, we'll take you back." And although I felt her hand, I didn't feel a hand, if you see what I mean. There was something different there, and I just said the people, and that was it. I just knew there was something different about them. From my eyes, they looked. Oh, from what I can remember, it's a vague memory. You have to understand, all those years ago. I'm a bit of an old bird now, you see. But no, I knew there was something different. That they was, as I looked at them, I just felt very safe. I knew they weren't like normal people, let's say, but I knew there was something different about them. But I couldn't comprehend at that time what it was. And then when I looked round to say goodbye, they'd gone. So I just like that. I looked just as they got me to the bottom of the path. I turned round and they weren't there, and yet they'd been there with me the whole time. Not at that age, no. I didn't. No, good grief, no. Not at that. I was too young for that. That you were just worried about getting home, getting told off because you'd been out too long. So no, not at that age. And I don't ever inquire about anybody's story. When somebody comes for a reading, I link in with that person. I kind of work semi-trance, so I'm just the middleman, if you like. I just give them evidence. I always ask for evidence from spirit as to give to people. I see them, feel them and hear them. As to what evidence that is, I have no idea at all. I just go with whatever it is they're going to say. Um, it's always been there. I've had lots of things happen to me through the years. Um, for example, hadn't long passed my driving test, and you know what you are as a young girl whizzing around the country lanes, as you can imagine. Um, Summer day, radio blaring around a tiny little lane full of bends, not a care in the world. If they hadn't have shouted at me, "Stop, stop now," and I listened to them. I've always known to listen to them. I stopped immediately, thinking, okay, I stopped, and this horse and cart come round the corner. If I hadn't have listened to them at that time, I would have ploughed straight. I would have just carried on going and ploughed straight into them. To my early 30s, I went to the normal things like you do, the spiritual circles, the spiritual churches and centres, and all that sort of stuff. Already had it, they just helped me tap into it more, let's say. Everybody has it though. Every child is born can see spirit. Where do you think all these little children that come in and say, "Oh look, I've got an imaginary friend"? They're not as imaginary as you might imagine. They're always there. Someone's always talking to me, but I'm aware that they sort of give me little signs, or they're always sort of nudging me or talking to me. But I never go up to anybody and say, by the way, I can see Great Uncle Fred standing behind you. That's not what you do. You just, I don't give anybody a reading unless they ask for one. Other than that, I just get on with my life, knowing that people are around me. But the people that are around me during the day or of an evening are my guides and helpers and my friends and family, my loved ones. You know, an old boy down the road called George lived there many years ago. He's got no interest in wanting to come along and show himself to me at all. I don't believe in that at all. Spirit work on positive vibration, never the negative. I believe a lot of the negative stuff is brought on by people's own energy, because we all have a negative side of us. I don't believe for one moment that spirit are out to hurt anybody, and if you look back in time, the evidence, spirit have never actually hurt anybody. It's just stories. We leave those to the great writers of the horror stories, I'm afraid. I don't believe in anything of the negative side of it. To be fair, I've not had spirits through that have asked me for help. I've had people come to see me that have asked spirit to help them. Very often, spirit. The only time spirit have asked for help is if I've gone through in a circle environment. You understand, spiritual circle environment where we've linked in and gone in to help certain spirits that have felt trapped or that are looking for something. And then you sort of guide them and show them the light, if you like, but that tends to be with a group of people. Shouldn't be done really on your own. You can sense that people are there, but to be fair, doesn't matter where you go, there's going to be spirit. Spirit are everywhere. So, even when you're walking down the street, they're there. It doesn't have to necessarily be to an old pub that's been stood derelict for years, or don't go there, that's haunted. As I say, I don't believe spirit attach themselves to bricks and mortar. Centuries ago, when we lived in mud huts, there weren't bricks and mortar. They've got no need to attach themselves to bricks and mortar. They go back and pay visits, they look around, they might get the ump if somebody's moved something they liked or whatever. They might just show their little bit of displeasure, but they're not out to hurt anybody. Sometimes they just want to say hello, just to be remembered and recognised. To be fair to them, they're not, though, are they? There is no death, if you like. It's just the next stage of your journey, your energy. You come from this dimension, if you like, of energy. The sun is energy, the earth has energy all around it. We use energy everywhere. And we ourselves are energy, our soul, if you like. We're energy. So that's where we connect with them quite easily, because we're the same. Are they dead? No, they're not. They've just moved on. So they don't know they're dead? Well, that's probably because they're not. They're just moving on and just having time to adjust. They do at times, sometimes if they pass, when some people are ready to pass to spirit, through lots of things where they're tired and they realise they've come to the end of their time, they get to spirit a lot easier. The ones that sort of have a sudden that they've passed very quickly, they sometimes need that time of adjustment. Some take longer than others. The light is around us, we're energy, okay, but it's like a dimension that sort of wraps around this world, very much like wrapping paper around a Christmas present, if you like. So they're always here. It's like it's just all interlinked.